Hello, everybody. Good evening.
What is up? I'm still just trying to ply through this. I'm going through a novel on the
Yes,
comments
you
that are coming
are,
in.
sir.
And I'm always
Good
proud and appreciative of how much
evening.
confidence Say Wong has in me.
Showing hi, Graveyard. Hi, Rogue. Hi, Say Wong. Hi, Durandrian. Hi, Eric. How are you all this evening? Metzo and Ark here with Saber Rattle, episode 146.
146. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
We
I
are
am
getting up
excited
there.
for this evening. When a lot of people come into, I want to give a little announcement. That I didn't even tell you about yet. Uh, but
Oh,
it's
look!
nothing
I have an
bad. Hi,
announcement. Look what I got.
Alex. Your camera froze
Look
for a
what I
second. There
got.
you go. Oh, your shirt cave.
Yay!
Merch. If you guys want to check out the merch, just check it out in the
Oh,
description below on
if
our
you would like your coffee cup,
Linktree, or you can go there.
if you would like a coffee cup like the one that Mez is drinking out of, or this beautiful shirt, and on the back it shows the name of the different shows that we have on there on our
Or
YouTube channel, you can get your own Kyber Cave production merch. Oh, there's the backpack. I haven't seen the backpack yet. Oh, hold it up higher.
it's
I want to see how big it
it's
is.
so cool. It's a
Oh,
pretty
is
good
it like
size.
a regular size school backpack?
It's a pretty good size. Yeah, it's pretty regular size. Like there's a pocket in here, and your black laptop fit in it. So it's
Ooh.
a pretty good size.
I have ordered my backpack, but it has not come in yet, so I'm excited. And my
I only
coffee.
great. I only have 135 episodes of Starting Morning Nerd Out to reach that number. You will get there, my friend. We will have fun doing it. All right, guys. So let me say hi to everyone else. Hi, Bat Mike. Hi, Majestic Raptor. Hello, how are you? Okay, so my little announcement is not that big of an announcement, okay, but for me, it's big. So before I came on to KCP, I had my own Twitch channel for about 2.5 years. I had to stop it due to some family stuff going on, and I wasn't really able to like get back onto it. And then I joined KCP. And for those of you who don't know KCP, my joining was a very sudden last minute thing, and I kind of just stayed.
Right.
And I'm glad I did because I've met some wonderful people. Now, I literally jumped on my I jumped on my Twitch at 6:15 p.m. tonight. I streamed on my Twitch for about 25 minutes to announce that I'm going to be coming back to my channel.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna start streaming. I miss my people. I miss gaming so much and streaming in general. So I jumped and announced that I'm going to be taking some time to get things overhauled, new channel art, new emotes and everything, and I'm gonna stream again on my own channel as
Is
well.
that different than what you're going to be doing here, or are you going to stop doing it here, or what's
No,
your game?
everything's gonna stay the same for KCP. I will just be doing my own thing that's gaming on my own, just on my own channel.
No, is it going to be any different? Like, should people like? Is it more of like adult like cursing and stuff like? Or I mean,
oh no,
how does it differ from what you will do over here? I guess is what I'm getting at.
I do more charity stuff there.
Oh.
I do a lot. I would do fundraiser after fundraiser a lot of the time. I do. It's a lot of just hanging out with me, and it's more personal. I'll do more scary games. I do when people donate money, tips and donate money. I eat lemon slices for people because I have a lemon tree like right outside this window. There's a huge lemon tree.
Right.
And so I announced that I will be coming back. Hello, John. How are you? And so I'm very, very excited to be coming back. I have 4 trips. As you know, I'm very busy this summer. Yeah. But I want to take the next couple of weeks. And after my second trip in June, I'm going to announce like what my schedule will be.
Uh-huh.
And then I will probably officially come back next month or August because I do have like a 10-day trip planned at the end of July. So I don't want to like stream for 2 weeks and then have to be gone.
Right.
I want to be able to make sure I can commit properly to it. Cool, Alex. That's fun. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Hello, Alex.
Anyway, all right. So moving on with our show, though, you know what time it be.
Woohoo! Time for the nerd.
It's time for the nerdy news, my friends. Okay, first on the news. Father's Day Guide 2023. Here is your Star Wars guide for Father's Day. You got 2 weeks. Okay, y'all. 2 weeks to get your daddy's own. You hear that, Sayo? Check out the link in the description below on StarWars.com. It is a link to the Star Wars guide, like all the Father's Day gifts that you could imagine from Star Wars. So check that out in the description below. Next, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the directors on Miles and Gwen's importance. Now, I did see this last night.
Did you go?
I did see it, yes.
Oh,
it's so good.
I've heard.
Like better than you could even think. Like I did see one bad review and I was like, they just want to be different.
Okay.
The movie was great. The artistry is so incredible. I love this animation style so much. And it kind of has, it's not even just one style too. Like there's the main worlds that they're in, but they're slightly different. The textures in each world is different in each universe. And having them all in one spot too, it's really, really cool.
Yes.
Anyway, great. And Van will be stuck with me coasting SR for the next one. So yeah, on the 18th is when I'm not here, guys. KCP's going to have to survive without me for like 6 days.
No, how do we do it?
Morning of the 15th, and I come back on the 19th. And y'all guys survive without me. Like I won't even have internet. So saw it Thursday, absolutely loved it. Can't wait for the next one. Yeah, Eric, it was so good. So if you've seen it, because there are spoilers, and you want to dive deeper down, I know say punk down into the importance of Miles and Gwen. Just go and look in that article in the description below, and you can find out more information and read what the directors had to say. Excellent. So that is a quick and dirty. Okay. Dirty news. So,
thank you, Miss Meso.
You're welcome. So how will we survive without me? You'll survive. You survived without me. Okay. I wasn't always on this channel.
Yeah, Sewang, I want to point out that this channel was here a year and a half before Metzo even heard of it.
I heard of it the day I joined, pretty much. Yeah, so I know I'll be I have a trip this coming weekend, but I'll be back in time for Saber Rattle, so that's not an issue. But the trip after that, I'm going to Mexico to help build a house, and I won't have my laptop, I won't have internet, I won't have any of that jazz. I won't even have electricity. So I haven't been to this. I haven't done a missions trip to build a house in 18 years. We'll see how it goes.
I'm worried about your health. I'm a little bit concerned about that, but it sounds exciting. And of course,
yeah, it did change
voluntary work.
It's different than the last. I didn't go. I went to 18 years ago, so it's been half my lifetime ago, pretty much. Right. But they do it high force. Mwah. They do it a little different now, where it's literally they have all this stuff pre-planned, and you spend only 2 nights in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
But I'll be working both days.
Right. Well, again, I'm a little concerned about your health and.
I will recover.
Moving things around and doing hard labor.
I will recover and take the breaks I need. I can't take my pain medication with me, unfortunately, and that's just how it works. And I will deal. There's been times where I didn't have it anyway. So
wow.
If I feel lonely, Van, you know what I'll do? I'll play this.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I don't even have it on my phone. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Wow. I had somebody else comment about that a couple of days ago, too.
Oh, really? I'm so sorry. It was like you were our guest on Saber Rattle, and we had a guest interviewer to interview you instead. It was Forrest, and I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. And I was like, this is going to be perfect.
I think it's kind of funny because, like, I don't know. I guess I don't really see my laugh as anything different or unusual, but everybody else seems to point it out, and everybody else says it's Joe Rogan, or I mean, Seth Rogen.
It's similar, but it's a little bit different, but it's similar. Anyway, okay, so moving on, guys. As you know, on our show, we have a segment called Flow the Show, brought to you by James Kaiser. And this week's Flow the Show is Spinning Spades. And if you'd like to check out more about them, their Facebook page is linked in the description below. So, without further ado,
is somebody that we have had on multiple times as well.
That's awesome. I have not met Spinning Spades, and so that's really cool. So, without further ado, please enjoy Spinning Spades.
Thanks, Forrest.
All right. Thank you, James Kaiser, for bringing Spinning Spades to us this week. The area he's in is like redwoods. It's very epic looking. It kind of reminded me of like some of the. My brain is blanking on the name of the planet.
Endor.
Yes, thank you. I'm like, it's like Andor, but not.
Yeah. Yeah. I was other than how short that video was, I was astonished at how gorgeous the cinematography was. It looked like, I mean, it didn't look like a regular camera. It looked like a little more advanced. And it also looked like they were using a drone camera.
Yeah, I think he's got a drone there.
Yeah, but
so that was really cool. So that was a very good well produced in that.
What I'm really loving is that, you know, over the years since we've had this segment on the show, you know, it really used to start with like somebody had a camera set up and they were just doing tricks, and it really has evolved. There was a couple that we've seen where, you know, the camera was almost as much of a person, an entity.
Yes.
What? Okay, you're throwing me off now.
Well, I think I made yours comment because I said I couldn't remember the name of the planet, and he goes Earth. So I saw all that and just started chuckling. Sorry.
Wow.
Someone should put Van's laugh as a Saber sound font. That every time you hit.
Wow. I love a KCP one because there's certain things that's so funny how, because I've been doing this now for 2.5, almost 3 years, people have pointed out things that I don't even realize I do. Like James pointed out, I do. I'll often say right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then I think you pointed out that my intro has been exactly the same for like the last 3 years,
dude. Like, the reason I noticed is because when I go to edit the old Saber Rattle videos for the Patreon. Oh, speaking of Patreon, like, did you guys know we have a Patreon? You can support us for as little as $1 a month, and you can go to patreon.com/Kyber Cave Productions. Shameless plug. All right.
All kinds of exclusive prizes and gifts there. And we have a Discord too.
Yes, we have a Discord. So if you just want to see anything that's connected to us, a new TikTok page, all that, just check the link tree in the description below. Even our merch store is linked to that. And you can get yourself a Saber from the Kyber Cave store.
That is right.
All right. So, sir, would you like to speak about our guest?
Yes, I would. Our guest tonight, I am very excited to talk to you. This is the first time we've ever had this type of an artist on the show. We often bring in a lot of cosplay makers, but we usually bring in a lot of like suit makers, costume makers. We've even had an interview with the furry suit maker once, but this is our first time talking to a wig maker. And I want to learn all about that. So with no further ado, please give it up for Gwyn James. Gwyn, what is going on?
Hello.
Man, those wigs are absolutely fantastic.
I try.
It very much reminds me, you know, when I watch, like, I'm not a huge into anime. But then when you watch a lot of anime, or like I'm thinking almost of what is it, Kingdom Hearts? Is that the Disney crossover?
Yeah, that's
game?
the one that's all the Disney crossovers with Sora and all those
right
guys.
Sora has like the crazy hair and the crazy angles and stuff like that. That's what I was seeing with your wigs. A lot of like angles and things that a wig doesn't look like it should be able to do.
Yeah. It's fun, honestly, getting it to do stuff like that. It's a very interesting process a lot of the time, because not every wig's going to react the same way to the same techniques of styling.
Right. Now, what is your method? Well, first off, do you take commissions? Do people come to you and say, "Hey, I'd like you to make a wig that looks like this character or this character"?
Yeah, so I actually have one of my coworkers from my day job. I'm doing a Jinx and Bakugo wig for them currently.
Wow. Wow. So for the most part, are you trying to copy and emulate other things that are out there, like cartoons that you see, or
So
video games, or are you trying to create new wigs that nobody's seen before?
all of the above. I've done a couple wigs for drag queens that have just been like, they gave me like they'll give me a theme and I'll take artistic liberties and run with it. And then I do a lot of I'm a big part of the cosplay scene. I've been doing it since 2017, so there's a lot of times where I'll be taking inspiration from like Nendroids and figures in directly from the show
Right,
to style said wigs.
right, right. And you said since 2017 you've been doing it. Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. And what got you started? And I mean, I've talked to many cosplay designers. Very interestingly, when the pandemic broke out, we did interviews with people who started off just making stuff for themselves, and then their friends saw it, and then they wanted them to commission. And then by the end of pandemic, it turned into a whole business for them, where they were able to leave their normal job and just work on cosplay. I haven't heard about anybody specifically working on wigs. Is there something that attracted you to the wig part of it, or do you do all kinds of costuming?
So I have started getting more into sewing. Did theater for a long time, so I was really into like hair and makeup, and that's kind of where it sparked. And then my friend one year when we were in middle school was like, "Hey, you're going to this con with me," and I said, "Okay."
Right. Hey, Gwen, it may help our viewers to not be as nauseous if you could not roll in your
Sorry.
chair there. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So you started off doing real hair then?
Yes and no. So I started out with like cutting my own hair and stuff like that, and then we did a production of Shrek the Musical, and so I had to style our casted Fiona's hair, which was a wig.
Right, right.
So kind of
There's a comment here. Say Wong says most cosplayers use two of the main wig companies, Arda and Epic Cosplay. Are those companies that
yes.
you've heard of?
I actually have a Kilo wig somewhere that is from Epic Cosplay Wigs that I styled, and then I own an Arda Wigs wig.
Uh,
I kind of pull
would
from
you
a
say that
variety of sources.
your work compares to their level? Is your work a higher quality or
I would say it's more of like a mid to lower tier. I am still not at a point where I would be like, hey, spend $700 on this wig.
do
But
people actually spend
yes,
$700 on a
yeah,
wig
there's
for
a
one
couple
wig?
for one wig. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and that's on a low end for a high end cosplay. I've seen wigs go for as high as 15,000.
15,000. What in the world would get okay, I'm saying all this as
I think
looking at my
Van's gonna add
$1,300
wigs to
lightsaber.
his shop.
I know. I was like, what would make a wig worth that much money? Is it the amount of work that goes into it? Are they
it would
using real hair, or what? What
it would
makes
boil
something
down
that?
to the materials and then also labor. So
Mhm,
for certain wigs, like you will never catch me making a Super Saiyan wig. That is too
mhm.
much. That is too much. But a lot of it is going to boil down to what is the base wig that they're using, what material is it made out of, and then is there going to be an underframe? What is that underframe going to be made out of? And you're going to
Oh wow,
see kind of down like that, and then how many hours of labor did it take? And a lot of the wig commissioners will off the minimum wage for their state.
wow. Are these? I mean, for the most part, are your wigs? Would they be? Um, are they individually customized, or do you have just kind of like a wig that anybody can wear? Regardless of your
Uh,
head size of your head or whatever.
It depends on the wig. Some of them, if they're going to have a wire frame to hold it, like it's a ponytail wig, it's
Mhm.
going to be you're going to have to give me specific measurements so I can make sure that it is going to fit on your head like a glove and not fall off.
Wow.
And then
How
there's
do those
other
wigs
wigs.
stay on, by the way? Okay, so check this out. We went to Anthony's Anthony had a show. Anthony is one of the drag queens on our show on Kyber Cave After Dark. He had a show in his hometown, and there was a queen that I swear to God did a backflip in heels into the splits on concrete, and the wig did not move one bit.
So She probably had what was called a lace front wig, which is going to be a wig that has a very fine mesh lace across the forehead that you cut off, and then you glue it down using wig glue. I've used got to be glued, hairspray, and gel, and it will not move. Bobby pins is also a really good one that I have seen and used.
Wow. Yeah, Mezzo says she uses bobby pins as well.
This wig in particular is notorious for falling off off people's heads because it has so much hair on the back. It's very back heavy. It'll just slip right off.
Right.
For this one, I specifically have a velvet band that goes around the head. Sorry for my dogs barking.
No, it's all good. Let's see. There's a comment here from Fours that says, "What makes it worth it is mostly the competitive cosplayers and the potential prize money for the contests at the cons throughout the years. I know cosplayers who clean up after a year competing in cons for thousands.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I'm
crazy.
This is so funny. I've had Kyber Cave almost for 5 years now. I've been around the con scene, you know, almost for 5 years now, and I'm feeling like I'm just now learning about it all over again. Like, I realize that there's, you know, I've seen the cons where people win prizes and stuff, but I didn't know that there was people that could win thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah,
doing cosplay competitions.
Depending on the con, there can be prize money. It can be just like a, hey, you did it, good job.
Right.
It really varies.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there's human hair wigs, which a base wig made out of human hair wigs, like just for the wig, no styling, nothing. I've seen as lowest I've ever seen, and it be good quality, is at minimum $100 to $150.
Wow. And is it? I mean, I guess there's not like a ballpark for any of this. I guess the amount of time you spend, it really depends on the individual wig itself, right?
It depends on what the customer is going to want. It's going to depend on what is involved with the wig. So it really boils down to that. That's why I don't have set pricings on like my Instagrams and whatnot, because I would rather somebody reach out and us find a fair price.
Right. Well, now you have a few examples around you, correct?
Yes, I have.
Can you show me just for comparison, so our audience can see, what would be, say, I don't want to say cheap, but what would be a more a value wig compared to one that somebody's going to spend a lot of money if they buy this wig? So show me a cheap one and an expensive one.
I would probably say this one's probably going to be my cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, there it is. Ignore the head. The head's a little busted. But this one is just some minor spiking and whatnot, and heat set. So the way I style my wigs is they are primarily styled with heat, making the plastic fibers malleable and then setting them once they cool. And that's what gives it all the spiking. And that is because this wig took me 3 hours to make.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Whereas.
And what are you doing? Are you like weaving hair into like a netting or something?
So these ones are. This one specifically was pre-bought. It depends on what the wig is. If it is something that I can go onto like Epic Cosplays and buy a base wig and then get Fs if I have to make it longer or shorter or more dense, then I would be sewing it, or you can also glue them in. I prefer sewing. It stretches a little bit more.
Right.
I have a work in progress wig right here. This wig, if I were to price
Gwen, I just want you to know really quickly, you were getting a ton of love in the comments. I'm not sure if you were able to see the comments on the bottom of your screen.
I am. I kind of did a lot of, hey, go watch these people.
Hey, that's beautiful. That's what we want. That's what this is all about.
So
okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. Once I start talking, I start talking. So this one, I just started working on her. It's going to be a Shinobu Kocho wig from Demon Slayer.
Ooh.
Sometimes cheap wigs work just as good if you know what you're doing.
Right.
This one is going to be after what I'm doing is destroying the fibers, so it is more voluminous, and then also it's a process.
Right. Right.
The whole backside of it's going to be cut off, and there's going to be a layer of quilting batting laid down, so that way it is a perfect dome, and then hair's going to be laid over that.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Do these get really like hot and scratchy?
Yes. 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 And migraines are also a thing that occur.
Oh, because of what? It being held tightly onto your head?
Because of between the wig cap and then the wig sitting on your head for like average con 12 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Would you say like I know you talked about working with drag queens. You talked about working with people that do conventions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find their needs to be the same or very different?
No, it really depends on who it is. I find a lot of times the type of styling that a person will want will vary based on personality. Like my coworker wants specifically a realistic styled wig instead of a more cartoony style wig, which is what I would consider something like this. I would consider it more cartoony.
Right.
They want something more realistic.
Wow. And you're able to do all of that for them. Has there been any project that somebody has come to you and you said, "Yeah, I think that's a little bit outside of my skill level?"
Not yet. Mostly because
Woo!
I don't know my own worth sometimes. The hardest wig I have styled is my Miku wig, which is not one that I display that often because I am in the process of restyling.
Right.
Because I think it
Right.
can be better.
Now, you yourself, you are a big anime person, right? Like you're all
Yes.
into the anime scene. Okay, so a lot of times it seems to me, I'm guessing, I don't know, but it seems to me that when people come to you with these requests, you already know who the character is, or do you then go and spend time researching that character?
Sometimes if it's depending on the type of media or popularity of the show, et cetera, it's a lot of nuances. I will. There's been characters that people have been like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "I don't know who that character is, so give me some time to research. Give me
Right,
some
right,
reference
right,
photos."
right. And so then you'll go online and try to research and
I'll
find different angles
mhm,
and things like that.
different angles of the characters. I'll look and see what other cosplayers have taken it and done with the character to make it their own, and take it and look at the client's own cosplays and see how their kind of style is, and try to go more towards how their style is.
Right. Have you ever had to kind of fill in the blanks with your imagination? So for example, like I know in the Star Wars community, right? Star Wars is really big on like people will their favorite character will be somebody that was in the show for literally like 1 second. So you have like
Yeah,
one angle to look at to figure out, but you can't see what the back of their head looks like or what the
yeah.
side looks like. Have you ever had to deal with things where you just had like almost zero reference material and you kind of had to figure it out in your head?
Yeah, there's been a couple wigs like that, where, like, if they have a hat on, that's been one that was interesting. I just kind of took the spikes and did a 360 of it, which was the blue and black wig that was shown earlier. He is a
Right.
character that typically wears a hat, so I'm like, hey, we're just continue spiking it and hide it underneath the hat.
has there been one that's been a favorite of yours that like, or has there been one where when you finish you're like, oh man, I don't want to give this to the client, I want to keep this one?
Yeah, it's actually the one that I'm currently working on. I keep reaching for it. It's this one. It is one of my favorites.
uh,
There it is.
what makes that one of
Uh,
your favorites?
it is one that I have made a thing that is bouncy, honestly. And it's really smooth looking. It's really soft and whatnot. And plus, it is going to be airbrushed, and it's going to be my first wig that I have ever airbrushed detailing into.
Wow, how do you feel about that? You excited?
I am very excited. I'm very nervous for it too.
do you do you in a perfect world, if you could make your art your living and you didn't have to go to a 9 to 5, do you think you would just still concentrate on wigs, or are there other things you'd like to branch out to?
I would probably try to branch out into like sewing outfits too, but wigs would probably be my main focus, mostly because it is something that I do because I just thoroughly enjoy it. Whereas sewing, I'm like, yay, sewing.
Right. That would definitely be my issue. Are
It's
there
something I do because it's serene.
right? How many have you ever been in like time crunches where, like, I don't know, maybe you had to do 3 wigs for a school play or something and it had to be done by opening night on Friday night? Do you ever find yourself in those positions?
Yes, and actually, this green wig that I showed was right before a con the day prior. I went, oh, I don't have the wig for that styled yet. Let's do that.
Wow. And where do you get your materials? Are you sourcing things from the internet, or, do you have specialty stores in your town or something?
Uh, I do not have any specialty stores, so I typically will pull from either Amazon if it's like a very specific, it has to be this kind of styling, it has to be this length and these parts, and I don't feel like having to cut it that way or sew it.
Right.
Or I'll pull from Epic Cosplay or Arta, which are places you can get just straight hair and sew in the West yourself and whatnot, or you can just buy the wigs. Again, that really depends on what I'm doing and if it's something that I have to do it that way, which I will,
Right.
or if it's something like I'm making an entire frame for a ponytail and have to cut off all of the hair, glue hair somewhere else, stuff like that. And it also depends on my price point. If it's somebody who has a little bit of a lower budget, I will be looking more on Amazon because there's going to be a lot more cheaper options there. If they have a wider budget, it's going to be Epic Cosplay or Arta because those wigs. Whew,
I think it's
one,
really cool that you have different pricing structure that allows you to work with people that maybe don't have the same budget. Because I know, I mean, and I'm just relating this to Star Wars cosplay, but you do a Rebel pilot, for example. You've got, your jumpsuit and all the little pieces and your helmet and then your weapons and your gloves. I mean, you really can spend thousands of dollars just collecting all the little pieces that you need. So I find it really cool that you're able to work with people that may not have, the budget that we'd like to have.
yeah, and I've always been a person where I'm like, if there's a will, there is a way. I will get this done somehow.
Are you
Like
working
my
on any for yourself?
I have one in the works. It's actually that Shinobu wig in the back.
Mhm.
She is going to be for me. So I have a couple that are for straight commissions, and then I have a couple that I work when I have the time. I have a kilo wig that I need to finish styling and adding wefts to.
Right. Slothfully Me says Gwen is financially understanding a queen, and we appreciate that. I'm sure I'm sure some of our viewers watching will appreciate that too. I know I specifically started talking. God, we met in the store, and I specifically remember telling you about Anthony, who is on our show Kyber Cave After Dark, and now he was looking for a wig maker.
Hmm.
So it was very serendipitous that we happened to meet in that
Yeah.
way. Are there other places that you do wigs that maybe maybe most people wouldn't have thought about? I know you do drag shows, you do conventions. Do you do things for like high school theaters, or maybe children with cancer, or anything like that?
I haven't. I
Mhm.
used to when I was in high school. I used to do stuff for theater. Other than that, it's mostly been cosplay and drag stuff. I've done a couple fashion wigs here and there for a couple of friends just on a whim, being like, here you go, have a gift.
Oh wow, that's a heck of a gift. What is the most work you've ever put on one wig?
That would be the infamous Miku wig. It took me 3 months to style.
Eesh.
Um, and that was a wig that had a lot of a lot of hair. It had at least three ponytail clips in it. So it had. I'm gonna pull one off. It had three of these guys about the size of me. You saw
Uh,
how tall I was in store.
right.
On each side of the head that were all styled and teased. And
Wow.
that's not including the base, which was a bob that I did up into a heart-shaped thingamabop. We're gonna go
Right.
with that. That is not the word I was looking for, but we'll go with
it. This is my reenactment when you said 3 months. I went.
And then this
Yeah,
red one over here gave me a run for my money as well. Ugh.
So when you're doing like I'm thinking again, just an example, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, who's got like those weird angles and things like that. Are you using like wire inside there, or would that be like hairspray to do the weird angles?
So for example, there is not a single piece of wire, it is all hair.
Oh wow. So is that hairspray then that's making you go into those sharper points?
No, so on this one I specifically used tacky glue because it is
Okay.
waterproof.
Okay.
And this is a wig that is probably going to get wet or drenched in sweat at some point.
Right. Because that was kind of my question is when you do say the more unusual wigs that have, weird angles and stuff like that, I would imagine that after a performance, it's almost like real hair where you got to go get it stylized again. Like
yes and
it's not
no.
not like a helmet where it just stays in one place.
Yes and no. So this one I have fully fallen in 7-inch heels in, and tumbled over. This wig has no hairspray in it. It is just heat styled, and it bounced back just fine. Like I have beat this wig up, and it just takes a little bit of that. The thing that tends to get tiled is loose hair that is just kind of sitting there. Helps if I hold it in frame.
Right.
So that's going to be a lot more where you're going to see like the tangling and stuff like that. My wigs, I try to make them to where they can be abused,
right,
and make it out. Like the Shinobu wig is going to be a helmet of hair.
Oh wow! So it's not like when I buy a wig from you, I constantly have to send it back to you to get it restylized or something like that.
In theory, no, as long as the proper care is taken care of. Like for my wigs, I would recommend instead of giving them like a traditional wig bath, spraying them down with 99% rubbing alcohol. Just so what's there doesn't get unstyled by either the heat of the water or anything like that.
Right. Now, can these things be cleaned? I mean, I would imagine if you're wearing it 3 and 4 times, it's going to get sweaty and gross and.
Yes, which is where the 99% isopropyl alcohol comes from. That one's actually a drag queen tip where they will spray it down with that said alcohol and it'll disinfect it. Some of the looser styled ones, like I would wash the green one that I just showed, mostly because the styling is really simple and it'll bounce back. Ooh, sorry.
No problem. Are you working on any currently right now for customers?
For customers, I am working on a Jinx wig. It is currently taking a wig bath in the bathroom to get washed and take the shine out of it.
Right.
And that one's gonna probably give me a run for my money.
Do you tend to have like or does it fluctuate? Like, do you tend to try to take on just one client at a time, or do you get yourself in positions where you've got 3 or 4 different clients with 3 or 4 different needs, and all of their wigs are in different stages of the process?
I try not to, but I have gotten myself into that situation recently. Said coworker has given me like 4 wigs to do. So typically I try to divide my time up between any multiple wigs. So an even amount of time, I'll set a timeout for my day, and I'll work a little bit on them each day. And it also depends on when does the customer need said wig. So it really depends on if it is something that they need at the end of the week, that wig is going to get my full attention. If it is something that is a couple months out, I'm going to schedule it like I would any other things. I'll set like a 2 to 3 hour timer on it, and we'll just work on that.
And Gwyn, are you and if this is too private of a question, feel free not to answer or whatever, but are you at the point yet where you're able to make a living from just selling and doing wig work, or do you have a regular job? Or
I do have a regular job. I do have an outside job. So that is something I have. I just now got the actual business and commission portion up. I was doing wigs there for a while for free for people because I was confident in myself and just wanted to try to build a portfolio.
Right. Remember what Joker said in Dark Knight Rising: when you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah.
Are you in a perfect world? Is this something that you, if you were given the choice, if you had so much work that you could afford to quit a 9 to 5, would you do just this?
Oh, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I love doing this. It is so fun.
Is this something that you can pretty much do from your bedroom, or do you need like special equipment?
The only special equipment that I have currently is going to be my airbrush, which is something I just got, and that is
Mhm.
because inhaling that in your room is toxic.
Right. But you don't need any kind of, I don't know, some kind of machine to stretch the hairs, or like.
No, I pretty much do that by hand. My hands have become desensitized to really hot wig fibers. There was a wig that I had styled a couple of years ago that I
Mhm.
almost severely burnt my finger on
Lee.
because I finger curled that thing, and those wig fibers were over 220 degrees Celsius.
Ouch. Something they don't tell you about at wig school.
Ooh,
do
wear your heat
you
gloves, kids.
do you see, like, is it an ambition of you at all to try to turn this into your business, or are you happy having it just as kind of a hobby right now at this time in your life?
At this time in my life, I really enjoy it as a hobby, and that's not saying I would not be thrilled to have it as a full-time thing. That is something I actively want to work towards because,
All
well, that
right.
seems fun. That in a perfect world, that seems like an amazing way to make a living.
I was just thinking, Gwen, and I don't know. Obviously, I don't know your industry. I'm just spitballing ideas here. But I would think for you, I could see you at a Comic-Con convention with the little booth with, 10 or 12 or 15 different wigs that you've made, and setting up, commissions for people. Either they can buy one of your pre-made wigs, or they can, sit there and make an appointment with you and, get a specialty done. You can take a deposit, from that person there and make some money. But I could see you at a con really selling your services, because I feel what you do is unique, and it's one of those things that a lot of people need. But who the hell do you talk to when you need it? You know what I mean? Nobody. It's not like
Exactly.
everybody just got a wig maker on the corner.
Yeah, which is
What do you think
actually
about
that's a
that? Would you
good
ever
idea. Well, that is a
would you
good
ever set up
idea.
a
Might
little
have to
booth?
do that at some point. Yeah, actually, that is a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can see people being into it, especially if you had maybe a line of wigs that were easier to make, that were popular anime characters. They don't take a lot of time for you to make, but you could make 10 of the same exact one, sell them for, 40, $50 each or whatever, and build up your reputation that way. There's a question. Oh, August 4th. Yes, yes. We got to get you to come out to our August 4th event. We're doing 10th annual Saber Battle and a free outdoor convention in the park in Sacramento. So maybe we'll have to get you a booth there. Kevin has a question for you here. He says, what criteria or what does one need specifically to order a wig? Just like a character's name. So if Kevin wanted to order a wig from you, does he just tell you the character and you go research it, or what do you need from him?
So typically, I on my Instagram page, there's a whole thing where I have it in my bio to just send me a text and ask, and we'll give you a quote, and if that is something you want to continue going on with, we can go from there. And that is where I will be like, hey, this is what it would be for base costs. So my deposit is usually going to be the base cost of materials, base most of the time being just the base wig, not including hairspray or anything like that, if that is something I have
Right,
to use.
right,
And then we can kind of go from there and be like, hey, this is how this is going. When do you need it by?
right, right. Excellent, excellent. Do you have any plans or goals in the next year to 5 years as pertains to this wig? Like, are there things that you want to try or things that you want to get that would help you do other types of wigs that maybe you don't aren't able to do now?
There's a couple of things that I want to try. It's not that I have anything that I need to get. It's just more so I just need to I need to just do it. It's a lot of it for me is going to be a confidence problem.
Right.
But there's stuff like this, like the Shinobu wig. That is a new thing for me. I've never used quilt batting or foam or anything like that in a wig before. I've always done wire frames for stuff like that. So that is something new that I am trying. That looks really fun.
Excellent. Do you have any if there was other people that were interested in getting into wig making or making their own wig, trying something out, do you have any advice for people that might be doing it for the first time themselves, other than maybe just come to you? Yeah.
Honestly, do it. Just do it. Reddit has a really good list of resources where I have pulled a lot from. There is a really large population on TikTok that of wig commissioners and stuff like that that you can look at, and they will straight teach you. And then same thing with YouTube. YouTube has a lot of things. Arda and Epic Cosplay Wigs both have a presence on YouTube and TikTok. So,
Okay.
and they also have a lot of tutorials out there. I've just found things that work for me that I like that look cleaner to me.
Right. Well, I, Gwyn, am very excited. I'm hoping to see some of your work out there on the con circuit. You're local, so I'm sure I'll see you back in here as well. But I'm excited to see you grow. I definitely think if this was something that you wanted to focus on, you are, I believe, in a unique position to be able to do it, because I don't know of a ton of other wig makers, and especially ones that can do things at a reasonable rates out there. So I definitely think you've kind of got yourself a beautiful niche there.
Hey, I get it. I was a real budget cosplayer there for a long time. So, hey, anything that can help the community that I care about.
And there's nothing wrong with being a budget cosplayer. A lot of the best cosplay costumes have come from the Goodwill.
We all start somewhere.
Exactly.
There's a photo of me somewhere with a really bad wig.
All right. Well, unless anybody else in the audience has any more questions for Gwyn, I really want to thank you for coming on tonight, letting us learn about what you do and find out about wigs in general. Like I said, I've never talked to a wig maker before, so this has been a whole eye-opening experience for me. I'm lucky enough to have beautiful hair. I don't need to talk to any wig makers as of yet. But if I get that certain cosplay, I may need to come to your direction.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Gwyn. We totally appreciate you being here. Hopefully, like I said, we can get you to come out to August 4th, Saber Battle in the park. It's going to be an outdoor convention in Sacramento, so hopefully we can get you to come out and show off some of your stuff there. For anybody who is interested in finding out more about Gwyn, seeing more of Gwyn's work, or even getting a hold of her to do your own commission project, all of that information is in the description down below. Metz is really good about that. And so if you want to find out more, just go down below and there should be a link to your work. Yeah. Gwyn, I thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We will talk soon. Hopefully I'll see you in the store soon.
Yeah.
All right, Metz.
Hello. That was very sudden. I forgot to fade the black.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Just to change up my look just a little bit, just my everyday look.
The way Gwyn started with doing things for free was exactly how I started my graphics design and like filming business.
Right.
So when I started streaming, I was in a streaming like growth server.
Right.
And when you stream, one of the things like you always like to have is channel art, right? And so, but it's like when you just start out, you can't really afford to hire somebody to do it. So I started learning how to do it on my own. And then I
Right.
started doing it for people in the server. And when I realized I had 14 client folders, I was like, maybe I should start charging for this. So I
Right.
started
Right.
charging like very little at first, and I had the little portfolio. Eventually, I was able to get a website, and next thing you know, I'm like doing it. I've got bidding at cars now.
Right. It's very interesting. Before I was slaying sabers and before I was a preschool teacher, I had spent 10 years as a poet. In fact, we started America's first webcast poetry slam series. I should have a Wikipedia on that or something because we were first.
We should get some of the archives for a Patreon.
I remember my mentor, she used to have this saying. I won't say the Kyber Cave After Dark version of the saying, but essentially her saying was you got to give butt to get butt. And what that meant was, as a beginning artist or as a beginning poet, you had to go out and do 20, 30, 40 shows for free. You may have to drive to venues that are an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours away to do a 10-minute set just to build up your name. And once you get to the point where they start calling you, that's when you can start saying, I need $30 to come do the set or $100 to come do the set. But you kind of had to build up that reputation. You had to put your work out there for free before you could get, people that wanted to pay you for it.
And even now, like, even though I've been doing this a while and stuff, I still get that imposter syndrome problem. And I charge so little for what I do which is what I recently found out. So I filmed a music audition for someone. It was a professional audition for Tiny Desk. It's an NPR thing. Right. And I sent someone who's in the business my video, like how I shot and edited this. And I was there for 4 hours. How much should I have actually charged? And he was like $400 to $500. And I charged $100. So it's like,
right.
My brain goes, I didn't go to school for this. I wasn't taught. I was taught by myself, that kind of a thing.
Even the flip side of that is even if you're worried about imposter syndrome, the flip side is that if you price yourself too low, there are some people that are like, ooh, she must be really bad quality if she can do for $100 what everybody else is charging me $400.
Yeah, a friend of mine explained that to me. And so I got to find my balance. I don't do the filming and editing very often. I mostly just edit. And it's mostly for KCP and my church. But that's mostly it. But I feel like I really related with Gwyn on that part of it. Like starting off doing things for free. It was just to help people because I felt like I was in the same boat as them. But then I was like, hi, Mixed Oreo.
Mixed Oreo.
I'm gonna start charging for this because I've been doing it a lot. And that's when I got my first PayPal. All right. Well, thank you for that interview, Gwyn. I really enjoyed having you on. She and I got to chat a bit before the show and laughed about things and doing theater and stuff. So, all right. So, moving on, guys. We've got Kevin Hogan on our channel. Kevin Hogan is our convention reporter, and every week he goes to conventions. I hit my mic. I'm so sorry. And does a report, and he also lets you know about ones that are coming up. So, here's Kevin Hogan, and thank you very much, Mr. Hogan.
We'll miss you.
Hello, this is Kevin Hogan from Northern California with another episode of California Comic-Con Adventures. On Memorial Weekend of May 28th, 2023, our friends over at Ohana Comic-Con visited Tulare, California there, and on May 29th, they went to Sonora, California there. Ohana Comic-Con, as you know, visits a Comic-Con every single weekend up and down the state of California there, sometimes like this time going to a couple of Comic-Cons the same weekend there, bringing happiness and joy down here to lots of cities there. Usually they're very economical there, going to places like Veterans Halls, Moose and Elk Lodges, where there's free parking there, so it's very convenient there. It's a great chance when they come to towns near you, get to meet local cosplay friends there, see their cosplay contests in the afternoon, usually around 2:30 in the afternoons there. Their prices are very economical. Usually they have $1 off coupons if you bring in the flyers from online there that they have on Facebook there. Usually they have local vendors there and artists in their vendor halls there, lots of cool souvenirs for sale there. So whenever they come down to town near you, definitely recommend checking out Ohana Comic-Con. Also on Memorial Weekend was FanimeCon 2023. FanimeCon happens in the San Jose Convention Center every year, usually around Memorial Weekend there. It's Northern California's largest anime Comic-Con event there that happens. It's dubbed itself as By Fans for Fans. It has lots of video programming events there, like panels about VTubing and lots of other subjects about pop culture. Lots of costumes walking around there. They have a big cosplay masquerade there in the evening there. They put on a bunch of costume shows there. They have music events there where they have like maids dance on stage there. It's very entertaining there. They have a giant room full of computer games and arcade games for people to play there. They have different tournaments for people to play and compete with each other against for old regular board games and other computer games and stuff like that there. And tons of other interesting stuff to do, like see different guests from different movies and shows and things like that there. Plus a giant vendor hall at the San Jose Convention Center to walk around in. So it's a great thing to see there. And in 2019, for example, FanimeCon had over 34,000 people come to visit it there. So it's a very time-consuming to get through the line and entrance there. They do require masks and proof of vaccination ever since the COVID pandemic happened. For example, in this recent 2023 FanimeCon on mid-Saturday, it took about 2 hours waiting in line for everyone to check the manual paper COVID cards there. So definitely want to plan ahead for your day there when you're going to FanimeCon. And for everyone looking forward to upcoming events there, definitely want to get out those wizard robes and princess outfits for the Coronberg Renaissance Festival. That's down in the Corona area of Southern California there. That's going on every weekend now through the end of June there. And also, our friends over at Ohana Comic-Con on June the 11th are going to be visiting Turlock in Central California. That's Ohana Comic-Con on June 11th, going to Turlock. And also, for everyone interested in spooky vendors there and also spooky costumes, definitely looking forward to June 17th to the 18th. It's going to be Sinister Creature Con up in Sacramento at the Scottish Rite Center. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the picks, and we'll see you out there at the next Comic-Con.
Thank you, Kevin Hogan.
Man, I was watching that FanimeCon one and just thinking, oh my god, if Gwyn was there with the booth, Gwyn could have made a killing. A killing! A stack of cash, I tell you! You'd be going home with wheelbarrows of cash.
Down in our green room, too. She's like... Oh, that's so much fun, too. I wore wigs a lot for theater because she and I were talking about how I did theater, too. We both have done theater.
Right.
I had to wear this like ridiculous yellow wig that was spiral curls. It was like it was hot. That was the worst part. And I have a decent amount of hair. Right. And I had even longer hair then. And you had to like separate it into pieces, and then I would twirl it and then bobby pin it to the head. And then you put the big cap on. And this is like community theater. This big old wig cap on, you would bobby pin that to your head, and then you put the wig on, and then you'd bobby pin that underneath, and I would cover it with hair and stuff like that. You should get bobby pins that match the hair color like you kind of had, but it wasn't always that easy.
And on that note, really quickly, and Graveyard's here, I wanted to let Graveyard know too, because this is something I actually talked to Fours about. I had a conversation with Fours looking at some life changes that I'm looking to make, but we have a slightly different goal and direction with Kyber Cave. We are still going to have our storefront. I'm looking to move back down to maybe Fairfield and get something smaller, get rid of these machines. But by the end of summer, my goal is to get a small little cargo transport van and start heading further outside of the Bay Area for cons. So one of the things I had talked about doing was going down to Florida, hooking up with Fours and having his family and friends come and help me work the con for a few days, hang out with my boy for a few days, and then get to the next con.
That's all. My brain's sitting here thinking like, oh, he's gonna branch out a little bit. Florida is very much further than I thought. But understood. That's really cool. I'm really excited for you. That's really exciting.
Yeah, and then I can come out to Graveyard's neck of the wood when he has cons out there. That way, Kyber Cave will be on the road and moving. But I got to a point where not the 3 cons ago. So that's when I sat down and figured it out. We had made in 3.5 hours what would have taken me 130 hours at my regular day job
That's insane
to make. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm doing
insane.
something wrong here.
You're not doing anything wrong. It's just, it's just different job. It's like, whatever. Anyway, but it's really cool. I'm really excited for you. Van wants the van life.
The van life, right? Exactly. But I would still be doing shows from the road, and then I could stop and see people. I could come out and see Frey. I could go see John. I could go see Graveyard. I could bring Kyber Cave to them.
It's really exciting. I'm jealous because we did get to meet Mr. Force, which was absolutely wonderful, and it was like a movie scene when we finally got to hug and say hello. And then Graveyard, I haven't met. I'm going to be a little jealous that you're meeting him before I do.
You know what? I'm telling you, dude. I know you guys think it sounds crazy, but I have not given up on KyberCon or KyberCon 4 being Kyber Cruise 4.
Oh, that would be definitely interesting. And I also really want to meet Frey Girl, who's my sister from another mister. I adore her. We're good friends. KyberCon 4 Graveyard. Woo! Mix needs a lightsaber. His birthday is June 19th.
Woo!
That's coming up. I will be on my way home from Mexico that day.
On the 19th. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to make another little announcement to give people an update as well. Where will you get a boat? Dude, I actually very first Kyber Cave was right next to a cruise company. My friend ran a cruise company. And I had actually talked to her about, like, I guess you can rent out like sections of cruise trips and stuff like that to do your own parties and things like that. And she said it's actually very reasonable. As long as you have, a certain amount of people that sign up for the cruise. That was that. What? I feel like there was something else I was going to say.
I don't know. I never know what you're going to say, except for when it's your intro.
I remember. I wanted to give people an update. We did last month, April and May, we did a fundraiser for one of our producers here. We were trying to raise money to get him a wheelchair. We did not quite make it to enough money to get to the wheelchair. We did raise, however, about $36.50 total towards his wheelchair. I just ordered him some accessories, so we spent about $2,000 ordering him some accessories that he can use on his current chair and then transfer over to the new chair when he gets it. One of our other friends, one of the other friends of Kyber Cave, her name is Michaela Cash. She's friends with John. Her mother is a congresswoman in the area that they live in, and she started a fundraiser for John's wheelchair. And I think they raised in 3 or 4 days what took us like 2 months to raise. But the point of the matter is, I spent $2,000 today getting these accessories for John that he wanted. And the other $1,600, I'm going to be shipping out to their fund. So the other $1,600 is going to be added to whatever money they're.
And we still have the money from the GoFundMe. We need to somehow be able to send.
Yes,
because
I don't know how that works.
There was some logistics stuff on how to exactly send it to him specifically. So we'll get in touch with him in the next day or two.
We'll talk about that. I think if we can, we'll have it go to the fund and not go to him, if possible. Only because I know he was worried about Social Security if he receives gifts. Like he can mess up his Social Security.
Exactly.
Or something.
So I'm not sure exactly. Right now, it just sits in there. I'm required to put in withdrawal info by the end of the month, or it gets returned to everybody. So, we need to make sure we get that figured out. But that's for not now.
Right. But I did want to let people know we didn't keep that money. That money was just sitting there until we figured out how exactly John wanted to use the money. Of course, we didn't raise the whole thing, but we were able to get him pieces towards his wheelchair that he can use, and some extra money to go towards the bigger goal, which is, like I said, roughly $1,600. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. Thank you, Gwyn James, for coming in.
We love
you, James Kaiser and Kevin Hogan, our producers, for the flow of the show and Comic-Con Adventures. Don't forget to check out our other shows during the week. You can find out about all of them in the description below instead of me rattling off every single day of the week.
Or you can go to kcpmerch.com and buy yourself a t-shirt, and there's just a list of the shows on the back. That way you don't have to memorize anything.
Well, but the description tells you when they are and such. The shirt doesn't exactly say that. It just says the title.
I'm just trying to get people to buy a shirt, damn it.
Go to kcpmerch.com. You can get a shirt. You can get a mug. There are phone cases. There's a hoodie. There's 2 different kinds of hoodies. There's a zip up and the pullover. There's kids t-shirts now. And backpacks and water bottle and a notebook. There's plenty over there. So get yourself a KCP mug and drink water.
Mixed Oreos is asking. We are at 12:41 right now. That means we need 59 more people.
Good job with your math.
Hey, that's why I became a preschool teacher, so I didn't have to count past 31.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. Keep an eye out for Retro Alcove tomorrow night. Graveyard and I have been playing Riven. So that will be fun to see. And you guys have a wonderful week, and we will catch you later.
Adios. Thank you for being here. We love you. See you next week.
Bye. Enjoy Talk of the Town.
Peace.